Hello, everyone. I can see a lot of you are here today. Welcome. This is our curriculum overview for the Master Business Analytics program. My name is Michelle Lee, and I'm the director of this program. I've been the director since the beginning in 2016 when we launched, and right now we're in our 10th year, so it's our 10-year anniversary. I'm joined today by our colleagues Anna, Jen, and Minna in the admissions office as well as our program office. And feel free to ask questions as I go along. I'm just going to share a few slides and then you can ask me questions and we'll try our best to get everything answered for you. Great. So I just wanted to start with sharing an overview of MIT. MIT is a really big place, and Sloan is one of 6 colleges inside MIT. So we have the Master Business Program inside management, but we also have students across our university in the science department, SHAS, which is urban planning, and the College of Computing, which is our newest college, the Schwartzman Center, architecture and planning, and finally our engineering flagship school. So within the management program is our business analytics program. It was launched, as I said, in 2016. It's been ranked the #1 program in the world, luckily, since the beginning. And we are a STEM classified program. It's a 1-year on-campus full-time program. So we do not offer any online components. Students come to campus and stay on campus for the 1 year. This is the breakdown of our student body. This year we have 80 students. We've had a steady state of 80 since 2023, and we do not expect to grow in the near future. So next year, we're looking for a class of 80 students as well. We have a good mix of countries, over 29 countries represented, very high GPA, a good balance of female to male, and very technical undergraduate degrees. So the overall mission of the program is to combine machine learning and operations research to arrive at data models and decisions to allow for predictions and prescriptive analytics. So the unique aspect of our program is that we really do focus on optimization in combination with machine learning. We do teach deep learning, Gen AI, we teach statistical inference, but the core of our program lies in machine learning and operations research. This is a map of the 1-year program. I know this is a lot of text on one slide, but all you need to think about is there's the fall semester on the left, the spring semester in the middle, and then the summer semester on the right-hand side. The students take a really full set of courses in the fall. There's really no time for anything else. We keep trying to add more courses, but I think they're really maxed out here. So they're taking analytics tools, which is programming in R and Python, Julia, and SQL, optimization methods, machine learning. These are all our foundational courses in machine learning and AI. The analytics lab, which you can see is the 9-unit 572 course, is a more hands-on training course. So that's more project-based. Students work in teams of 3 to 4 students with a company. And before this webinar, I was just talking to some companies that have done A-Lab in the past, for example, like Wayfair and General Motors and Disney, for example. So companies come and do projects with our students, but students are also taking our typical engineering type courses like machine learning and optimization, which are more traditional courses. So you're in a lecture room and students are taking exams during the semester. There's midterms coming up soon in 2 weeks. And then they also have weekly problem sets and final projects and final exams. Students do have to maintain a 4.5 GPA out of 5. MIT is on a 5.0 system, so a 5 is an A and a 4 is a B. An A minus is still a 5 and a B plus is still a 4. So you just need to get half A's and half B's in order to graduate from the program. We haven't had anyone come through the program who have not graduated. Okay, again, if you're just joining us, feel free to ask me questions and Anna or Minna will let me know. If there are questions, I'll try my best to answer them. So one part of the map, the timeline that I just showed you is the analytics capstone project. It is a majority of the program. It's 7 months out of the 12 months. So it is really the defining characteristic of our master's program. It's a required industry analytics course where students work in teams of 2 with a faculty advisor on an industry project. The companies pay for these projects and they fund your tuition. So the student's tuition is partially funded by the capstone project, and the students then travel to the location of the company in the summer to work on these projects. At the end of the summer, the students come back to MIT campus, present their final projects, and attend a graduation ceremony at the end of August. For some sample projects, you can visit our website. They're all listed there, analyticscapstone.mit.edu. Again, here's our required core in very minute detail if you're interested. Again, this is a curriculum overview webinar, and so we're trying to go through the curriculum as much as possible. There'll be other webinars about career and capstone and student life, but this one is focused on the curriculum. So fall core, the students are taking the top list of courses. I know it seems like a lot of courses, and it is. Students are working, 60, 80 hours a week on these courses. And then if those courses are easy for them or they want to challenge themselves even more, they can take one additional elective course, any elective that's offered at MIT at the graduate level. And then students can engage in research. If students are engaging in research with faculty, then they are not permitted to take an elective. In the January period, students are taking the analytics capstone, a communications course. We also offer a data ethics and data privacy course in the January period. So MIT is broken into fall, January, spring, and summer, where in January there are no regular courses held at MIT. So January is called Independent Activities Period, and during the whole month of January, there is special courses offered, and we offer these 4 courses, but most of the campus or the rest of MIT is not on campus for that winter break. And then in spring, which starts in February, students are taking the capstone project continued with their required mandatory courses. And then spring is the time where students can take electives that interest them. So they have to take at least 27 electives and up to 40 maximum units. 27 has to be approved technical electives. And then up to 21 additional units or 48 max can be any elective that you want. Some students also take electives at Harvard. Cross-registration is permitted between Harvard and MIT. So Harvard students can take MIT courses and MIT students can take Harvard courses, and a lot of students do try to do that as well. And then in the summer, there's only one course. It's the capstone course, and students go either abroad or travel to do their capstone. Are there any questions? No? Okay. Here's a sample schedule for the fall semester. This year it's kind of crazy because the first course, 15681, only meets on certain days because the professor travels from Morocco every other week to teach the students. So this is a special course. All the other courses you see here are regularly scheduled every week. There are many gaps. There aren't courses offered during lunch, but there are courses offered from 8:30 a.m. until 5:30 p.m., sometimes until 7 p.m. And then Fridays are held for recitation. So students do not have lecture on Fridays. They have recitation on Fridays and then other special activities. So this is just an example schedule of our students for this fall. Of course, in the spring, the schedule doesn't look like this. It's very different based on what students choose to take as their elective. And then there's some special uh, analytics events that we hold for our students. For example, we have a class fall retreat where we take the students up into the mountains of New Hampshire for two nights, and they go and do some team bonding and go hiking and get to know each other better. We also do a spring trek to New York City. This year it's going to be March 18th to the 20th. And then we have some breaks throughout the semester for our standard holidays. There's a fall Sloan intensive period and then a spring Sloan intensive period as well. It's not really intensive. It's a strange name to call it. It's just really a week where classes are not in session and we do other activities for the class. And like I said, graduation is at the end of August each year, which is different to other programs that you may be applying to. Most programs graduate at the end of May or June, and ours, the students graduate at the end of August, and most students start working in the fall. So full-time hiring, they will start in October or November or December. These are some of our faculty that teach our courses. Dimitri Bertsimas, he's the associate dean, and now he's also the vice provost. I guess we should update this slide. Is vice provost for open learning at MIT. So he's in charge of both all online education at MIT as well as business analytics, and he's the faculty director of our program. Alex Shakiat teaches a lot of operations research and statistics and transportation topics, and his research is in transportation as well as traditional OR. Rahul teaches the Analytics Edge course, and he has a very famous paper on soft compute that he is well known for. So if you look him up, he's an incredible professor as well as researcher. Georgia Barakis, she's on sabbatical this year at Harvard, but she will be back next year at MIT. She does research in retail and online platforms. She works with companies like Zara, Wayfair, all the online platform strategy, pricing strategy companies. And then Karen Zhang is our amazing professor who works a lot on healthcare systems and social impact projects. She's gone to Africa to work on some healthcare delivery systems for those countries. So amazing slate of professors. And if you are interested in doing research, students do like doing research with our variety of professors. The maximum hours is 10 hours per week because they're taking a very heavy course load in the fall and spring. And the research assistantships are funded, so they will go towards paying down tuition. It is approximately $12,000 in funding if you choose to conduct a research assistantship at MIT. So that's very helpful for a lot of students who need that funding. Here are some additional topics. So I must say that the research topics have now shifted to more generative AI, large language models, and less traditional OR topics, but it's really what you're interested in. So if you're saying, oh, I really want to see, I really want to look at food safety in developing countries, for example, that's up to the students to say, okay, these are the faculty working on these problems, and that's who I want to work with for my RA-ship. This is a class profile of this year's class, and if you join our other webinars, we do have some of our alumni and current students attending future webinars. I do encourage you to come and talk to them. There are 80 students, and I think I went through the statistics here, so I'm not going to read them to you again. They're on our website. And then I'll turn it over to Anna, who has any logistics about our upcoming events, but you can scan the QR code to register. I do think there's an on-campus event where you can meet me in person. It looks like it's October 7th and November 12th, but I'm not sure. So Anna, take it away.
Yes, so we have a lot of upcoming events directed for business analytics, and these aren't even all of them. So definitely feel free to scan the QR code to see the full list of upcoming events. And you will get the chance to meet Michelle on campus on November 12th for Business Analytics Preview Day. Yeah.
Great. So that's all the slides that we had. I guess we'll just turn it over to you for any specific questions, and I can go through.
Yeah, so we did have a couple of questions in the chat for you, Michelle. So one person asked if while in the program, are they also able to take some action learning courses in addition to the capstone project?
Yes, so you can definitely take action learning courses as part of your electives. So a lot of our students will take product management courses because there's a product management certificate. So you can definitely enroll for a product management lab or other labs if it fits into you design your spring schedule. So there's definitely options. And in the fall, some students have taken entrepreneurship lab. So if you're interested in starting your own company in the future, or if you have started your own company and you need help, that's a great lab to join. And you can definitely take those classes.
Great, thank you. And someone else asked if there are any opportunities for students to do research while they're in the program.
Oh yes, this person must have missed my entire summary about the research assistantships, but that's no problem. Yeah, so you can definitely do research. Tons of students do research. I think over 40% of our student body does a research assistantship. So here is the summary of the research assistantship. Students apply in August before starting the program, and faculty will interview them and select them to hire them as a research assistant. Students work 10 hours per week from fall semester until spring semester, and they're paid roughly $12,000.
Thanks, Michelle. And so we know that today's session is geared towards the curriculum, but someone did have a question asking if there's any prerequisite courses that they should take that will help them prior to being in the MBAN program.
Yes, there are many prerequisites that we recommend. The most important prerequisite is linear algebra. You have to take some linear algebra, whether it's an online course or a full undergraduate course in linear algebra, advanced mathematics topics. Differential equations is also great to have because these classes in the fall are very, very technical. They start with your basic, we basically assume knowledge of linear algebra, of statistics, of probability, when you come into the program. And then just some basic coding, computer science courses. If you take like algorithms or data structures, that will also help in your fall core. A lot of our students have taken SQL or Java or C++ or something to show that they have good computer science knowledge. So I would say math and computer science are the most important two prerequisites.
Awesome, thank you. And then we have someone who is curious to hear more about what alternative activities they can do outside of the curriculum at Sloan.
Oh yeah, there's lots of social events, clubs, and activities. I'm just showing you the 12-month schedule, but within this schedule, students will participate in conferences. There is the annual Sloan Sports Analytics Conference, which is the largest sports analytics conference in the world. I went to the sports analytics conference one year and I met President Obama at the time. And Michelle Obama was the speaker the following year. So it's a pretty big deal. And students at Sloan can volunteer to organize these conferences. There's other conferences as well, like I think there's an Africa conference, there's a technology and AI conference, there's a product management conference. But you don't have to do conferences. There's social, like sports, intramural sports. We just had Sloan Olympics. I mean, the problem isn't that there's not enough activities. The problem is that there's too many activities and students can't decide what to do because there's too many to choose from.
Thank you. And then another question was related to capstone, which we will be having a webinar that focuses just on capstone. So stay tuned for that. But the question was, how does selection of the company you work with for capstone, how does that process work?
Sure. Yeah. So you can see some of our companies on our website. If you go to the website on this link here, analyticscapstone.mit.edu, we have returning companies each year. So each year we have about 40 companies, and many companies return year after year, but we're also always looking for new companies to come on board and host a project for our students. So it's just a submission process. Companies will submit a project and we'll evaluate it and select them to be part of the 40 each year.
Also got a question, Michelle, about healthcare and if students can take any healthcare analytics type courses while they're at Sloan.
Oh, yes, you can definitely take healthcare courses. We have a lot of healthcare, the intersection of healthcare and data science or healthcare machine learning. There's actually a machine learning in health. There's a course that's called Machine Learning in Healthcare. You can Google it. It's online. It's Machine Learning in Healthcare offered by MIT, where students work with doctors at hospitals to solve a data science problem. It's more like a project class. But there are many healthcare classes offered at MIT, and you can take them as part of your electives list. And you can also do research in healthcare. For example, Dimitri Bertsimas, one of the faculty I showed you before, has done a lot of research in oncology and diabetes research, where he's helping doctors classify certain symptoms of patients into different diagnoses.
Thank you.
Can I
And
answer
then,
that? I don't know.
sorry.
Okay.
We had another question asking what the typical class schedule looks like for MBAn students.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so if they spend most of their time inside the classroom and what sort of amount of time they have to do other activities.
Yeah, that's a great question. So this is a sample class schedule from this fall. Currently, the students in this class are doing this schedule for the fall semesters. You can see there are a lot of gaps in their schedule where they're not in class, but a majority of the learning does not happen in the classroom. Actually, most of the students come out of lectures being really confused or very agitated because they're worried that they didn't understand everything in the lectures, and that's normal. A lot of the students will learn in study groups or outside the classroom where they go to office hours or they go to recitation and seek help from the TAs. So I say like 80% of the learning comes outside the classroom. And then there's also speaker series during lunch hours where different clubs or the dean's office will invite speakers to come and talk to the students. And then there's the group work. So students are always doing projects together. So when you're doing projects, it's usually late at night or early in the morning or during the gaps. So that's where the learning happens.
Thank you. Let's see what else we have.
Oh, there's a question about work experience. You don't need to have any work experience coming into the program, but if you do have work experience, that's not a negative, it's a positive, especially if the work experience is related to data science or machine learning or AI. So we don't have I guess, requirements for number of years of work experience. feel like there's more questions now that I answered some.
Let's see.
Okay. Uh, there's some questions about linear algebra. So yeah, if you're a finance major, you can still take linear algebra or matrix math or differential equations online. You can, there's tons of online courses you can take to show us that you know the content.
We did get a question on how classes are structured. So if they're more project-based, case study-based, if you could answer that.
Oh yeah, it's a mix. So a lot of the courses are traditional engineering courses. So for example, machine learning is you go to lecture, there's problem sets every week, there's a midterm and a final project. This year there's 2 midterms and no final, but there's a final project. So that's the traditional machine learning and um, analytics edge classes. The other classes you can see here at the top is the analytics to action. That's a more communications course and business course. So it's case study based. It's a pass fail course. So all you have to do is attend. Then the analytics lab is also a project course where students really just learn by working on a analytics project with the company. So they work with the company, and the company gives them, a guide on what they're expecting, and the students are, doing the project and getting a grade at the end of the semester based on what they have done on the project.
Thank you.
Um,
So there's lots of questions about GRE and GMAT, and so this is an optional component when applying. Michelle, people were asking, what is your viewpoint on if applicants have taken the exam? Should they still submit scores?
Um, yeah, definitely. If you took the exam, if you took all the trouble to take the exam, yeah, go please submit the score because I mean, if it's a good score, if it's a bad score, then, maybe try again. But definitely if you took all the effort to take the exam, tell us how you did. But it's not required. We put a lot of weight on your transcript. So make sure your transcript looks good and you have good grades on your transcript. Um, that's really the deciding factor.
Students asked if you know of any favorite courses that students take that is
Oh
related to
yeah.
business analytics.
Well, that's a always fun question. I think you'd have to ask the students what their favorite courses are. And in the past, the best courses are the courses taught by the best faculty. So the question really is, who's your favorite professor? And I'm not really able to say that, on a recorded webinar, but there's, more favorite professors and other favorite professors. It's just based on who you like and what kind of teaching style you like. So you can go and see like who are the most highly rated professors, and chances are whatever course they're teaching is an amazing course. Given all that said, one of the most favorite elective courses our students have taken, no matter who's teaching it, is Power Negotiations. It's a MBA course that's highly sought after, and our students can take it in the spring. So Power Negotiations will help you with any future business deal or even negotiating buying a car or, your salary or offers, all that. So a lot of our students love that course, Power Negotiations.